So this is Algebra 1 and Semester 2. It's a unit on quadratics. It's unit number 3. This one has a lot of lessons. This is lesson 21. It's on positive and negative parabolas. It's on creatormath.com under the Algebra tab. And you might have to Google creatormath.weebly.com to find the site. The instructions are copy the following problems into your composition book on the correct pages according to the table of contents with the notes for those pages from creatormath.com. Let me show that to you. I'll show you a couple things during this lesson. One is, so you're going to type in creatormath.weebly.com into Google and it should pop up this site. The home page looks like this, which I hope you know by now. Just in case, I almost always try to go back through it. This is the home page. Let's go to Algebra 1. You're going to pass by the vocabulary stuff. This is the all-important vocabulary PDF you need to do your assignments in vocabulary. Go to Semester 2, Table of Contents. You should have copied this into pages 2 through 6 of your composition book a long time ago, but if not, do it now. Let's go to the proper unit, which is quadratics, and all the way down to lesson 21, which is positive and negative parabolas. The notes are here, so if you click open on the notes, and sometimes it does take me a couple times, you guys, to load it. That one just loaded right there. I saw it kind of refresh and get really clear, and that way I can expand it on my screen enough to copy these notes into my comp book. It's going to talk about parabolas, right? This is a positive parabola because it's opening up. It looks like a smile. This is a negative parabola because it looks like a frown, right? The value positive or negative in front of the parentheses, if we have the classic format of the parabola equation, will determine whether it's positive opening up or negative opening down, as in a smile or a frown. All right? If the x squared is positive, then the parabola is a smile. And if the x squared is a negative, then the parabola is a frown. So smile or frown. There it is right here. Positive quadratic, smile. Negative quadratic, frown. I didn't spell frown right. Look at that. It says found. Okay, 1. Okay, so you can go and look at those notes. The other thing we're going to do is probably, let's see if I can do this. Can we pull up Chrome? Can we go to, we're going to go to desmos.com right here too, you guys. We're going to type in, we can use function form or regular equation form. If we just say y equals x caret squared, x squared, we get a parabola. Oh, right? Now, if you take a negative and put it right in front of that, so let's put a minus, it instantly flips the parabola upside down. So I know it's not perfect. This would be a frown, and if it's opening up, it would be a smile. Okay, so just to help you remember positive and negative parabolas. And let's see what we get here. So those are the notes. Here's our first parabola. This is pretty easy. It's opening up. It's a smile. And I guess if you just imagine it generalized like this, right, as your smile, the parabola has a different shape, but it looks pretty much like a smile there. Okay, and it's a generalized shape. This is positive. It's opening up. Okay, that was pretty easy. Given the parabola, is it positive or negative? Well, this one is in this way, right? It's opening down, and you see it's a very narrow parabola, but still, nonetheless, think of it as a frown, and therefore this is a negative parabola or quadratic. It's a negative quadratic that produces a parabola that opens downward. Given a positive parabola, could it be called a smile or a frown? All right, so a positive parabola is a smile. And maybe it just helps you remember, positive is smiling, right? If you're having a positive day, you're probably smiling. If you're having a negative day, given a negative parabola, you're frowning, all right? So if you can come up with some memory devices like that to help you remember, given the following parabola, is it positive or negative? F of x equals x squared. That's the one we did right here on Desmos. And just to show you the notation, we used y equals. That's the classic Cartesian coordinate notation. We can also use a function notation where we say f parentheses x, and this is called function notation. We say f of x is equal to x squared. Same exact thing. In fact, probably what I should have done was just gone ahead and typed y equals x squared here, and you see that they're literally on top of each other. If I turn off the blue, the red is there. If I turn the blue back on, it's right on top of the red. All right, so these two are just different notations, but they mean exactly the same thing. And if you take any one of them and you put a negative in front of that, it now becomes a negative. It turns into a frown, and it's opening downward. So this is, there's no negative in front of it, so it's positive. Once we put the negative in front of the x squared, in front of the quadratic, anything to the power 2, which I hope you know by now is a quadratic, that turns the thing downward into a frown, so it opens downward. It is a negative facing parabola, directional issue here. So now we look at a trinomial. This doesn't change much. These values start to change the shape of the parabola, but they don't change the overall orientation of the parabola. There's a positive in front of the x squared, so this is a smile. This is opening up. We now have a negative in front of the x squared, or the number in front of the x squared, the coefficient. This is a negative. This is a parabola opening down. And just to convince you, let's nuke this out. Let's go ahead and put in negative 9x, and by the time I type negative 9x squared, you can already see the parabola is down. These other values don't change the orientation of the parabola, although they do change the actual shape of the parabola. And what I mean by that is minus 36. Let's just show you. See how it's moved around? The parabola has moved to the left, and it has become less narrow, etc. Right? That's what these values do to the shape of the parabola. Sorry about that. So given the following parabola, is it a positive or negative? So this is the classic parabola form of f of x equals x minus h squared minus k. So we want to know what is the value in front of the parentheses. There is a positive in front of the parentheses, so this is an opening up parabola. And again, just to type this in maybe, let's see if we can do the, I'm tempted to just go like that. That might be easier. Equals, parentheses, x minus 3, parentheses, squared. There's our parabola. Let's go home so we can see it. There it is. And if we say minus 4, it just shifts it downward. So positive. It's opening up. It's a smile. Given the following parabola, there's a negative right there. So this is a negative. The quadratic, given the negative on this quadratic equation here, we now can say, or an equation of a quadratic, we can say this is negative. It's a frown. It's going to be opening down. It's going to be like that. This one has a positive in front of the x squared, so it's positive. This one has a negative in front of the coefficient in front of the x squared, so it is a negative. All right, that's it. That's all we need to do for positive and negative, or opening up or opening down parabolas. Make sure you're matching up the title to this. It's Algebra 1, Semester 2, and it's the third unit called Quadratics, and it is the 21st lesson called Positive and Negative Parabolas on CreatorMath.com under the Algebra tab. I hope that helps.